the returning champion.
Here we are, episode 5. We got to episode 5 finally. As a kind of a hallmark of episode 5, we have the King Boom himself, Gionnelles. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. We are playing Sailor Moon S, which is kind of, I think, slightly famous around FGCB.
Yes, I think it's famous in the FGC in general, and especially famous here because I'm always shilling for it. Not because I'm good at it, mind you.
So what is it about it that really kind of brings it out for you? I know, some notorious things like Sailor Uranus being utterly broken, which, you'll have to demo that for me
Yeah.
here at some point. But yeah, what is it for you that makes it special?
For me, it's really a nostalgia thing. I think I played this game with a buddy of mine who he had a modded.
That was
wow!
awesome.
What an incredible damage DP. He had a modded PlayStation. I think it was a PlayStation 1 that could take burned discs and could run Japanese game. And he was a big Sailor Moon fan. And this was the game that we played together. He and I.
Oh, that DP looks so cool.
Yeah, it's a hilarious damage too.
So he had the PlayStation.
Yeah, so he had this modded port basically of this game, and I have such fond memories of it from playing it with him. That's where for me it became this kind of nostalgia trip. And for whatever reason, whenever I play this game, I've kind of made a pact with myself to not get good at it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fun mashing game for me, and it's a game that I always get to enjoy at that level where I'm not optimizing anything. I know how to do the special moves, and I know how to kind of navigate around the game, but I intentionally don't spend any effort into getting good.
It has that right level of kind of, I guess, kind of not. I mean, I guess it is jank in a way, where it just kind of ends up just being fun to goof around with. I mean, since you told me about it, or since you told me that you wanted to play this for the show, I had been poking at it, every once in a while. I did not manage to get it out at Combo Breaker, but what was that?
That must have been
one of the
desperation
desperations.
move?
Yeah, I definitely just smashed that out. I don't know. I was trying to do the chain whip again. But yeah, it's I mean, I guess that's a good moment right there. It's just I didn't know what I did there, but it was kind of cool. Just got that right level of jank.
Yeah, it is a game infamous for its level of insanity. You can do just crazy stuff with it, but it actually has a really thriving community in terms of, I think it's the Toronto community is pretty big for this game.
Interesting.
There's a couple of good. Oof! I just jumped right into that.
How do you do the vertical or the horizontal chain whip there? I don't know.
The one that the DP.
Not the DP. The DP is the one that kind of she does the around herself.
The loop. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
Simon
that sticks straight
Belmont
out,
throw.
I think, is the command normal.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. Let me see if I can remember what it is. Yeah, there's a thriving competitive community for this game, which I think is hilarious, and it's really fun to watch at the high level. It's the first ArcSys game, so it has a lot of kind of crazy anime shenanigans in it, but at its heart, it's a good competitive game.
I think that bit of knowledge when you dropped that on me while we were kind of doing our this dash is gonna kill me.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. She's particularly crazy.
But yeah, when you told me that, all I could think about was like Dice K working on a Sailor Moon game, which he probably wasn't working at the company at this time, but
he totally would, right?
He totally would. He absolutely would.
Yeah. It's a really pretty game. It's really cute. It's faithful to the source material, and it's just fun. Even people who don't. Oh God. I forgot that she can just yeet across the screen like that.
It's so ridiculous. The thing I obviously there's actually I do have a question. That was where I was getting at here.
Yeah.
Is there actually more than one stage in 2-player mode, or do you only get this one stage in 2-player mode?
That is a great question that I do not remember the answer to.
Oh,
and
okay.
it may be one of those things where it's different depending on the port. Because
okay.
this is the NES port, or the SNES port. It was actually an arcade original, but there's no Fightcade port of the arcade version.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she's really interesting. Oh, and she's really infamous as well.
Chibi Moon.
Yeah, Chibi Moon is hilarious in this game.
All right.
She's extremely tiny. She's a tiny little gremlin.
You're not joking. Oh my God.
Yeah. And see if I can remember what her. Oh yeah, there it is.
What is this? Oh boy. Okay.
Yep, get ready. It's. If I can get past your.
Wait. Oh, did I grab you? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. This is fantastic. My normals just go over your head. Oh, she's got the bison slide.
Yep. And has a.
Oh, jeez. What was going on
Oh,
there?
you got it. I almost got it. Yeah, she's got a double jump, a dive kick, and a slide.
The real proto Guilty Gear character.
He also has the most infamous backdash in the game. Backdashes in this game are invincible, and hers is invincible in frame 1 and can be chained.
Oh.
So if you can chain it properly, she can be constantly
Invulnerable.
immune. Yeah, so she can literally be 100% immune, and then put you in these weird little loops.
That's incredible. I feel like this move right here, her little whirlwind there, feels like the. Oh, there we go. Okay, that feels more safe. Oh God.
Yeah, so she has really strong normals, and she has a grab, I think, that does a zillion damage.
Oh God. Like command grab or just a normal grab?
I think it's command grab.
Okay.
I think she's a command grab. I don't remember. Pluto is one that I don't really play because she's very slow.
I can see that. So yeah.
But she's very strong. The tiers in this game are wild. I have heard it said that there are no tiers in this game besides the one character who is so broken that. Oh, nice throw.
They banned her.
Oh yeah, she's Gigaband. She is. You think hidden character Akuma is strong?
Nope. Sailor Uranus.
She's on a whole nother level. Oh wow, I fell on it.
Oh. Oh. Oh god. Air butt. Oh jeez. Oh god.
It crosses up.
That's ridiculous.
She's a little goblin.
Oh man. Do you have any fun trivia? I mean, there's actually been a whole lot of fun trivia about this game so far, but is there any other nuggets of hilarity?
I mean, I heard about this game long after I had ever played it on that, PS1 like hacked copy that my buddy had.
Mm.
He didn't. I don't think we realized how jank it was when we played it.
As usually that goes, right?
Years later, it became this kind of infamous game in the community, and I started seeing videos and stuff about, very clickbaity, but like, is this the most broken game in the FGC?
See the Justin Wong title already.
Exactly, or Damn Crop.
Yeah.
This is a very Damn Crop game. Yes, she also has a fireball.
Oh, yep. Of course she does.
She does. Ow. But yeah, I think just lore-wise, it was a game that has a surprising amount of popularity to it. I think it's incredibly fun. I have enjoyed it for a really long time as my favorite like MASH game. This is a game that I don't necessarily know how to play but enjoy. And I went to EVO with FGCB last year, and one of the things that was so fun is they had the big arcade set up with all of the cabs, and they had a legit Sailor Moon-esque cab, a JDM cab, which was just really cool. And I got a chance to, I was like, this is one of my favorite fighting games. I'm going to sit down and play this. And sat down, and some other guy who I didn't know sat down and was a huge fan of the game as well. And we spent like 30 minutes just mashing.
That's a wonderful EVO story.
Yeah, I mean, EVO was full of amazing experiences in general, but that was definitely one of them for me.
So I guess got the gist with this game. What else? Or excuse me. How else does your fighting game history look? That was a poorly constructed sentence, but you know what I mean.
Like, what's the background for my fighting game history?
Yeah.
I'm old, so I am
Same.
turning 44 very soon. My fighting game journey started actually when my brother, who's 8 years older than me, told me about this game that he played in the arcade that was called Street Fighter. And the story he told me went that he was playing this game and he was doing punches and kicks and trying to get through, and that you could fight other players. And some kid came up and did a fireball and like one hit him with a fireball. And back then, nobody knew you could do that.
Are we talking Street Fighter?
1.
Okay, pressure-sensitive
1.
buttons and all.
This might have been after the buttons changed to the I don't
6
remember
button.
if it had. Yeah, it might have been the 6-button version of 1. I don't remember if it had 2 buttons, but I do remember he told me this story, and the thing that blew him away is this kid was doing these special moves, and he didn't know that they were in the game. That was not a thing that he knew existed.
Okay.
And he was so excited about this idea that you could do these cool special moves.
Oof.
And oh, that's not low and vulnerable. And so he thought it was so cool, and the kid wouldn't tell him how to do it. So he had to go figure it out. And that is such an FGC thing that doesn't really exist these days. But having to learn,
It's like
having to learn moves, nobody will tell you.
the like rite of passage of like learning how to do the moves.
Yeah, and it's just a thing that doesn't exist anymore. You know, you have the advent of the internet.
Yeah. I mean, the bison, we talk about the bison reveal. It's like, you got, Rolfamonger posting out his video. Character's not even out yet.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting tech. You're getting not even day one tech. You're getting tech weeks before. You're getting tech weeks before the game even drops the character.
Right.
Full breakdowns. Here's the frame data. Here's the moves. Here's the optimal combos. That is not a thing that existed back then. You went to the arcade and you got your ass beat.
Then figure it out.
Yeah. So that I got introduced to it from that, but the first one that I played was Street Fighter 2, and I became absolutely obsessed. I was so excited about that game. I grew up in kind of a weird household where my parents were very religious, and they had ideas about how consoles, in particular, video games are okay, but consoles, for some reason, were not.
Interesting.
And so I had an Atari 2600, but I was not allowed to have a Nintendo, and I was not allowed to have a Super Nintendo. So all of my friends were playing Street Fighter Turbo on the Super Nintendo predominantly, and I had loved it in the arcade with my little allowance money, and whenever I was able to go to the arcade, they let me get the MS-DOS version of Street Fighter World Warrior. And if you have never seen it, do yourself a favor and look up, I think it's Creative Labs, Creative something, MS-DOS Street Fighter. It is hilarious.
It is a wild thing to witness, for sure.
If you've never seen it, you literally cannot. You cannot believe what you're about to see.
It'd be curious to know. I mean, I'm sure someone's done that.
One MIDI soundtrack for the entire.
And it's probably like it was its own like composition, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't like nothing you would pick out from any other Street
from
Fighter.
The original. Yes, exactly. It was its own single MIDI composition track, basically, that played continuously.
Oh god.
I was obsessed with this game, though. Genuinely obsessed with it. I played. Oh, that's how I do that. Okay. Oh, what a weird input.
It's just like a wall of electricity.
Yeah, it's a quarter circle down move.
Oh, jeez.
So it's forward to down.
It's like an upside down TK.
Yes, and remember, this is the Zangief of this game.
That's great. So the other thing about the MS-DOS version too was it was 6 characters.
It had it only had 6 characters. Or no, was it the original? It was the original 8, but they were all screwed up. So like the most egregious of them, and the reason why I still have trust in players.
Oh,
did it crash?
Nope, we're good.
Nope,
all right.
Is Dalsum in that version had no hitboxes on his limbs.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you literally couldn't get near him, and the size of.
Oh,
there we go.
I saw that whiff.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Dawson's a terrifying
nice
character when you can't hit his limbs.
His legs and his arms had hitboxes, but no hurt boxes. So he could flail at you, and the sprites were bigger. The stages were smaller, and the sprites were bigger. So his standing heavy kick would literally hit you anywhere on the screen, and you couldn't punish it. There was no whiff punish. You couldn't trade with it. It was just an invincible rubber leg. So my group of friends had to ban him whenever we played on my janky keyboard, both of us sharing one keyboard. But that was my introduction to fighting games, and I still loved it. I loved it to the point that my parents, I remember, had to make me limit myself to a reasonable amount of time.
No.
Oh, her air buttons. I'm trying to remember. I was just doing this. I was kind of mashing like crazy. Her dive kick. There you go. There's her dive kick.
I matched that myself. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Okay, I got it.
That's it. That's her jam. And then she has a down heavy kick for her slide. Yep. And it's surprisingly hard to punish in this game.
That's terrifyingly quick.
Yes, it's very hard to punish too. It's very funny.
That's
But my parents limited me to 5 hours a day of MS-DOS Street Fighter. And I remember as a kid that I thought that was unreasonable.
5 hours now as an adult.
It's like, well, that's not fair. I want to play more than 5 hours.
God.
Oh, wow, I'm just beating your tiny little head in.
Oh, God. That does seem, as a kid, would seem unreasonable, for sure.
Yeah, it just is one of those things where I look back now and I'm like, this game is absolute poison to watch, but I needed to play it 5 hours a day because I was so obsessed with it. Just fighting games, the whole idea of being able to battle somebody else and have unique powers and throw fireballs was so cool.
Yeah. It like, I mean,
to answer your question though, because I kind of went on a tangent as I want to do.
Yeah.
My background started there, and I kind of stuck with fighting games ever since for a long time, through the 90s, until like, I guess probably the Alpha series. I played Alpha 2 is really where I fell in, a little bit of Champion Edition. I started playing Bison, and then I really stuck with him in Alpha 2.
Okay.
Then I took a break for a while. I started playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That was a game that I got very, very invested in, and I played for quite a bit. But after that, I stopped playing fighting games for a while, until Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 came out, and it kind of changed the game. I think all the 09ers, the whole people getting into games with that game, for me, it brought me back. It was, this is Street Fighter again.
Yeah.
So I really love that game. I started competing in, they had those GameStop tournaments for Street Fighter 4. So they had a GameStop near me that would run them all the time. And so we would compete at that, and then I would run locals at my house. And we would have like 10, 15, people come over to my house, and we would just play Street Fighter 4 all day, order pizza, drink beer, hang out.
That sounds wonderful.
And that really became, the culture of the FGC for me, and I got into fighting with an arcade stick in the 09 range until Street Fighter 5 came out. And I think like a lot of people in the 09er generation and older, the Street Fighter 5 was not well received.
No.
And I was a Bison main. I loved him in 4. I really didn't like the changes to him in 5. And the game just looked bad, and it played bad, and it had a lot of issues with it.
Ouch.
And so I quit playing. And I didn't just quit playing, I quit the genre. I quit all fighting games. for years and years and years. And I started playing kinds of other different stuff. I ended up into first-person shooters, spent some time doing that, and then I got into MOBAs and was playing League of Legends. And League turned me into a very angry person.
Yep, as it does.
As it does. So what I ended up doing is kind of evaluating, like, what's the thing I have fun with in League? And it was really that that one-on-one kind of aspect. And the thing that I found most frustrating is losing because I had bad teammates. You know, if I lose on my own because I'm doing something bad, that's not that big a deal. If I lose because I'm with 4 people who are running it down mid, that's really frustrating. You know, you waste a lot of your time and energy, and then somebody else kind of ruins 40 minutes of your day, and it just made me super annoyed. So I was like, this is the part I enjoy, is like fighting games that I used to play years ago. So I went to check out kind of what was going on in fighting games, a genre I had not looked at in years. And what I ended up finding is there was this game coming out, Guilty Gear Strive. And I had played a very little bit of Guilty Gear way back in the day. A Street Fighter buddy had got me to try it, and BlazBlue. They never really stuck with me. I never really kind of stuck with them, but they were very confusing to me at the time. I remember that. And one of the things that all the news about Guilty Gear Strive was saying is it's going to make the systems easier for folks who don't have, don't have prior knowledge of the game systems. Oh, what a sweep.
Oh.
And I was like, well, that's me. I don't have any prior knowledge of game systems. And then they started really pitching this idea of rollback netcode, which I'd never heard of before. I didn't really know what that was. But people were saying that was like a big deal, and was going to make it like you could play people remote and it would feel like you're playing online or local. So I got excited about it and decided I was going to invest into it. I got a new stick. And I pre-ordered a copy, and I bought a copy of Exert because that was the most recent Guilty Gear game at the time. So I got a copy of that, and I started trying to find somebody to play with because it wasn't easy to find matches in Exert at that point. So I looked around and found that it was a, quote, Discord fighter. So I tried to find a community to play with. And they were all children.
Oh.
It was all like literal children. I was in one group, or so toxic I couldn't tolerate them. The official Exert server was infamously terrible. And then I was in a nice server. It was very pleasant people, but they were all kids. It was like literal teenagers, and people, like the oldest person besides me in the server was like 21. Most of them were anywhere between like 16 to 19, and it was so odd just like trying to talk to people who have no background in what it is that you're talking about. So people would be like, oh, what's your favorite fighting game? And for a bunch of them, it's like, oh, I love Smash. Which is fine, but I'd be like, well, my first fighting game is, Street Fighter 2 in the arcade on the actual hardware.
Yep.
So it was a very odd thing, and I'd never felt comfortable. Oh, nice sweep. I never felt comfortable, and eventually that put the seed in my mind of, I want to play with people my age. And why isn't there anything for somebody who's older?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, she's a freaking wall bounce?
Yeah.
And apparently I don't really play Mercury, so I don't know. Oh, what a DP.
Oh, nice, sweet. So yeah, that actually kind of creates a nice little segue here. So let's talk about that. Like, you got into excuse me, you kind of found you needed a community, and Discord seemed to be the best way to start that, I would imagine.
Oh, I had some background in Discord communities because I ran one for my role-playing game. So among my many other hats, I'm a game designer for a tabletop role-playing game, and I had a small Discord community, like 60-ish people for that, and wow, that did not seem nearly as good as I had hoped that would be.
I kind of felt like that with a couple of things of Mercury's.
Yeah, she's
But that
I know she's got some sauce, but she definitely feels harder to use, I will say.
yeah.
As I get yeeted across the screen. But yeah, I had some experience running a small Discord, and I thought it would be that. There had been a poll on our fighters on Reddit that was like an age poll. It was like 5 different options and its age ranges, and then like the top one was like 35 plus or something. That's how narrow the ranges were. And 100 people filled out this poll that they were 35 plus, and I was thinking, okay, that's pretty cool. That means we can probably get about the same size Discord that I have, and I'll have people to play some games with. And it didn't end up being that way. The idea to start my own community actually came from an even weirder place. The real lore behind starting the community actually comes from a way different place than you'd expect. I got really sick. I had like a minor infection from something, and I went to the doctor, and they gave me some antibiotics. No big deal. Except it was an antibiotic I had not had before. Oh, what a dunk. And oh, I was mashing like crazy. Let me grab you.
Oh, time.
Oh, nice. And so they gave me this antibiotic I'd never had before, and I got deathly sick. Deathly sick. I got so sick, I ended up in the hospital, and I had to have multiple emergency surgeries, and I was in the ICU in Johns Hopkins while they tried to save my life. And I very, very narrowly died. I was in the ICU for 9 days.
Oof.
And my liver was failing, and look at the damage.
Ton of damage. Oh.
That is.
Oh, the GG on that was a good grab.
I see you are standing next to me. The God of Grunts would be proud.
He would.
Yeah, so I was in the ICU, and I was very, very sick. And I was so sick that they did not think I was going to make it. And my liver was failing, and I couldn't move. I was in the ICU bed, and I had all these wires and things, and I couldn't move. So all I had for entertainment was watching my cell phone for a fighting game. Oh wow, we hit each other on that one, huh?
Oh. Is there like a I don't know, just like I did the input and she like started huffing and puffing. That was interesting.
Yeah, so I didn't think we had it set. There is an option for that to happen randomly.
Oh, interesting.
But it should be disabled by default. It's part of the handicap system.
Okay.
So basically one of the things that you can get on the handicap is there's a percentage chance every time you do a move for them to basically just screw it up and stand there looking like an idiot.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it should be disabled by default. It's part of the ACS system, which is their like sort of comprehensive buff and handicap system.
Okay. Thank you, Arc System Works.
But yeah, exactly.
So I see you.
So ICU, I can't really do anything except watch videos on my phone. So because I had gotten all hyped about Guilty Gear Strive coming out, that's what I was really focused on. And I was watching all of these documentaries and stuff about fighting games. Aren't fighting games wonderful? And I lived. I made it through. After 9 days, I got discharged and I was sent back home. I was very, very weak. I almost died. And what I ended up, I was on disability for a while. So it became my recovery project. I was like, I'm going to use this time as like a little recovery project to make a community for other fighting game people and spend some time getting into fighting games. And I went, after my first couple of days back. From the hospital, I came up with a logo and a name, and I went on to Reddit, and I was like, I'm gonna get some people, and I'll have a few people and do a thing. The lore. As the lore goes, the first name I came up with, and I swear I'm not this stupid, but I didn't think it through, was not FGC Boomers. It was FGC Adults. And the logo that I had, I made from like a free website, and it was this like black and gold, very porn-looking thing, and I just didn't put two and two together until one of the first people who joined was like, hey, this looks really sus. We should probably, you might want to change the name. And I was like, oh wow, now that you pointed it out, that move is really good.
That's random discovery, and I can't do it again. Okay.
I don't remember how to do it, but it's good.
Oh, there we go. Okay. It is a full half circle. That was cool.
So, yeah, we ended up, after like the first day, changing it. And I redid the logo into the FGCB teal, and we changed the name to FGC Boomers, which for what a lot of people who are new to the community are like, well, you're not boomers. It's not baby boomers. It's boomers of fighting games, meaning the first generation of people who play fighting games. And it blew up, like in a very short period of time, because I expected, 100 people total. It was not that. We got like 300 people in one day.
Oh, geez. That's insane.
So it... Oh, does that thing cross up? That would be really unfortunate.
I think it's an overhead.
Yeah, it is. It's an overhead.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it, but it sure is. So we got hundreds of people joining, and I was like, this is crazy. This is taking off. And I recruited, I had a couple friends join from my tabletop and whatever community. Got a couple of people who seemed really active to help me, mod, put in some very basic rules. Most of which are just the same ones we have today. We have very few changes to the rules. But yeah, that's kind of the background for how it got started, was me looking for old people and then it becoming my recovery project when I got sick.
That's always kind of it's always kind of nice when something just so small just kind of blows up. And you're like, oh, I didn't expect it to be this successful, but here we are. I guess my question or follow-up question is like, how much of your life do you feel is devoted to FGCB at this point?
Ooh, more than I ever expected would be possible, for sure. It has become, the primary place that I spend time with my friends. It's become my main hobby. I have done multiple get-togethers. My family vacation this year is taking my family, my wife and my son, to Evo for the Boomers meet. So it's a surprisingly huge part of my life, certainly more than I ever expected. But yeah, I think that's the shortest way to say it, is more than I ever expected.
How do you feel when you see, like we have, I guess we could technically call them the sister Discord of Bato City, and or when people are posting like brackets and you see that FGCB tag, what kind of feeling do you get out of that? I'm very curious.
It's one of those things. I'm incredibly proud of it, but not for the reason that you might think. I think that the main thing that strikes me when I see that, especially for like Bato and TNS, we've got a bunch of people competing at TNS now. It's not like, look at how good we are and look at us out here showing off our skills. Although there is some of that. We do have some shockingly skilled players who also just happen to be old. It's more every time somebody competes, every time somebody in FGCB is in some kind of bracket or tournament, everybody shows up to cheer them on.
Yeah.
Everybody. It becomes this huge thing where people show up in the Twitch chats, they're spamming emotes, they're cheering for their brothers and sisters in the community. That makes me incredibly happy. So that's where I get most of my pride from, is just seeing the community watching out for each other and being excited about everybody's success. And Bato is a great example. They have such a complimentary attitude.
Yeah.
It's like such a similar mentality of like, we're here to have fun, we're here to support each other, lift each other up. That's really rare in the FGC, I think, and the internet in general.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, definitely on the internet. I mean, you mentioned, League being one of your things. It's like, even in my, when I was playing the game, like I played with a small group of coworkers, and even that couldn't be supportive. Like, we were always, you're always yelling at each other, and it was kind of, to have
kind
this
of toxic and unfortunate,
Yeah. It's to have this is a gift for sure. I wanted to share, like, if you don't mind, like a little bit of like my feelings when I see that too, because I think you and I kind of align on that. Is like I end up seeing what I see. Somebody having the tag in their name, and the moment that I felt this, and he doesn't like participate in the community as much as he should, and he does regret this, but my friend, like, for Combo Breaker, put the tag in his name, and it was just like this moment of just like, it's not like we're like there's an official sponsorship or anything like that, with it, but it's just like I'm so proud to be part of this community that, like, I'm willing to put it, like, I'm willing to attach my name to it, and I think that for me was what kind of, like, when I saw people starting to do that. I mean, it was my first experience with it was DMF at Combo Breaker 2023. And and I had thought about putting it in there, and I'm like, oh, well, I haven't been here that long. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier of, like, kind of the proving yourself kind of thing. And so I didn't put my name, I didn't put my tag in there. And then I think it was, the first Bato City that I did. I was like, you know what, I'm just doing it. And then it's now, like, permanently part of my Start GG registration, so that was,
I love that.
That was the thing for me. It was just like seeing people, like, people posting the results with their name attached to it, and it's just like, yeah, you are, you enjoy this so much. What is happening?
I guess that was my desperation.
It's just, you throw a cat? Is that Luna? Like, flying around the screen? Is that what's happening there? Yes, it is. That's amazing. But
That is so incredibly cheap. Sorry.
no, that was awesome. It made me laugh. That's all that mattered. But yeah, that for me, like that was just like the big thing. It's just like seeing everybody like kind of come together and be like, yep, this is who, these are the people that I want to be associated with. Was super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And being part of the community that's such a generous and kind spirit and is part of something that I'm genuinely proud of is, I talk about this all the time. Like I talk about FGCB in my professional space. It's something that I talk about even in places that would be, other people might find it awkward or weird to talk about their hobby.
It's amazing.
Wow, that is so the desperation moves are the old Arxis super move. So forward, half circle back, and then forward.
Okay.
And then either punch or kick. For Chibi, it's punch apparently.
Okay. That was amazing.
So, yeah, I'm really proud to see the tag and see people repping it, and I'll even give people crap if they show up and they're not running an FGCB tag. I'm like, what, are you ashamed?
I love it.
Sometimes people joke about it. They're like, I just don't want them to know I can't react to drive impact.
I mean, that's come up in streams quite a bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I guess having said, like, I mean, how's it running two different communities? I mean, it does feel like a lot of them, just given the audiences, kind of self-police in a lot of ways. But like, do you find that there's like a difficulty doing both?
My tabletop community and FGCB?
Yeah.
Not as such. I will say my tabletop community is so small in comparison. Oh, I jumped right into it. That there's very little that has to be kind of done there. It's under 100 people. The vast majority of them are people that I know in real life. It has a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily have to worry about in the same way. Just the economies of scale is a big factor, right? So FGCB is already almost 2,400 people. I think we're about to hit 2,400.
Yeah.
And that is a very different prospect. That is a very different prospect to manage than a community of 60 to 100 people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable. Okay.
Oh, nice, sweet.
So with that, or if you have more, go for it.
No, that really sums it up. I think FGCB takes a lot more work, I think, than people realize. I will definitely say there is more effort involved in running Boomers than people realize. There's a lot of behind the scenes that happens. The moderators, we only have 10 moderators for a community of 2,400 people, and we have, between Fightcade games and our main games and everything, there's 30 plus games that have very active communities in FGCB. So it is a lot of work, and sometimes we have to kind of spell each other, and people will check out for periods of time and things like that. But in general, it is much more work to run FGCB than I expected, and way more than any other community that I've run.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that was a very sick throw.
Thank you. I'm churning butter with the best of them.
Yeah, I think that's. I can see that being kind of difficult, especially when like you're in like, I mean, again, your other community is significantly smaller. So I mean, I would imagine a lot of lessons have to be learned. Like once you start reaching certain thresholds, like, ooh, how do we handle this now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been very much a learning process, some of which has gone smoothly and some hasn't, we've definitely had that was an attempted grab.
I love this move. It's I think this might be my favorite move in the
let
game.
Me grab you. I feel like my inner Zangief.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go. Oh, that was awesome.
Nice. See, if they gave Zangief a giant lightning fireball, I would probably be more likely to play him.
Well, he did have that, the little
Green
bit
hand?
of. Well, no, I was gonna say in the World Tour he has that the line of dialogue about should he throw fireballs. Oh, all right. Throw is a kick there.
Voiced by my own petard. Yeah. So what was the next question?
Oh, I was gonna say, kind of going back to tabletop RPGs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your tabletop RPG in particular.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have been role playing. I started actually not even with D&D. I started with a game called Rollmaster.
Okay.
Really old heads. It is nicknamed Rule Monster because it has so many charts and rules and it's just crazy. But I started with that game when I was probably 14 or 15. Oh, I jumped right into it. And I played that for a little bit and got introduced by a buddy of mine. So I started college really early. I tested out of my senior year of high school, and then I tested out of my first year of college. So I was 16 in my second year of college. Okay. And I met a buddy in a computer science class right around then. This is probably mid 90s. And he was really into D&D. And introduced me to his D&D group, and we went to the local hobby store where we played Dungeons & Dragons. And I got obsessed with it, and we played for years and years. All through college, my friends and I all played D&D. And the big draw for me, I'm an always DM kind of guy. I'm always the person who's DMing. And for me, that was the draw. I spent the bulk of my childhood reading, fantasy stories and
oof, that was a nice little combo there.
Thank you. I developed this world in my head when I was a little kid, which is where I would retreat to when things got tough. And I had all kinds of ideas about what this world would look like and what kind of creatures would be there and, all the stuff that you come up with as an inventive little kid.
Yep.
And when I got into D&D, I was not interested in playing in somebody else's world. I wanted to make my place. So I did.
Yeah.
I made a homebrew world that was based on my private little fantasy world. And it's one of those things where, oh, nice. Oh, right in the noggin. I did this originally with like 2nd edition D&D, and then we updated it to 3rd, and it was by 4th edition D&D, which was generally considered terrible by most folks.
Yep.
That I couldn't tell the stories I wanted to tell about my world in D&D. And my idea was the only way to do what I want to do is to make my own system that's built around the world, so I can tell these stories in a particular way. So I collected. Oh, good call out. I had collected.
Oh, nice. Good call out right back.
Yeah, exactly. We're when you play with somebody long enough, you start to pick out, he's going to jump.
Yep.
I love that about fighting games. I collected all these books for different role-playing games and took pieces of them that I liked. And I'd done a bunch of new World of Darkness stuff. I'd been running a World of Darkness game, and I was always a fan of some of the stuff from Shadowrun, some elements of D&D, and I kind of pulled pieces of it together, and I built a little playtest group of my group of friends who I basically trusted to work with me on it.
Yeah.
And that included my sister and a few of my other close friends who were part of my various D&D games. So they joined, and we...
That's some conditioning right there. Okay.
This is why I love Sailor Mars. So we started working on the system, and one of the things that I wanted to take from it is I wanted the stories to evolve organically, where you could have something happen in the story that would change what happens with your character. And D&D was you had to kind of know the build that you were going for early. You had to be like, oh, I want this prestige class, or I want this, whatever. And I always hated that about D&D, and I wanted something that would let people be able to pick stuff that made sense for them based on what they had learned.
I got out of the corner. Okay, yeah, makes sense. It's similar. I had similar frustrations with like Pathfinder and things like that. So.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the things we did is we built a system that was very tied to the game world. It was also very lethal combat. One of the things I always hated about D&D is you become this, as you level up, you're sort of this invincible monstrosity, and low-level challenges never bother you anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a game that has very lethal combat. There's no resurrection magic. If you die, you die. You're permadead. You do not gain health or hit points from leveling up.
Okay.
And one of the things that happens, and healing magic is also quite rare in comparison to damage dealing.
Okay.
So one of the things that this does, one of the benefits of that to a system, is it makes people consider combat more like real fighting.
Yeah.
Where they are willing to use diplomacy and stealth and traps and preparation, all the things that you would do in real life if your life was actually on the line.
Okay.
So that was a big part of it.
Oh God, I get that.
This thing is so egregious.
Oh God.
Oh wow, I'm being brutalizing the child. So it's a really interesting game, and the combination of the mechanics let you tell really interesting stories. So it has races that are very interesting. You can play as 9-foot-tall stone trolls. You could play as 1.5-foot-tall fairies. The entire world has this incredibly rich backstory because it's been built up over essentially not only the course of my life, but all of the people who've now contributed to building it.
Yeah.
So it's just like FGCB. It has gone beyond my purview.
Yeah.
It's become something that is more than the sum of its parts, more than my idea for it.
That's awesome.
So I think I find myself doing that pretty frequently with things that I care about enough. If I genuinely care about them enough, they become more than my own thing. I want other people to participate in helping make them something bigger.
Yeah, you lay the foundation, and then you get to see kind of
It grow.
yeah.
Yeah. Rather than just stagnate. You know, if
Right.
it were just my vision, it would be very limited to my experiences and my ideas, and eventually,
Oof, nice throw.
oof, eventually, die out. There's
Yeah.
only so much, that people are. When you give them ownership over something and it becomes part of their life experience, I think it's a more important.
Yeah.
Oh, what a wake up sweep!
Oh, ow. The organicness of it is like its own reward, right?
Yeah, seeing it grow. Oh, what a throw!
Oh, nice. Oh god. Did we just double KO?
Is that a double KO?
It is.
Oh my god, I've never seen that happen in this game. That is crazy.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, I with that, how what are other systems outside of your own that you've enjoyed? Outside, I mean, you said World of Darkness, and you had your flavors of D&D.
Yeah, the one I am playing right now, other than my system, which is called Brilliance Shadow, I am playing with Papture, one of our mods. Because all things kind of lead back to FGCB in my life, it seems right now. Papture is doing a Blades in the Dark game.
Yes.
And
yes.
So we're doing that, and I'm really enjoying it.
I love Blades in the Dark. I've never run like a full campaign of it, but I've definitely run a couple of really good, either like 1 or 2 shots that have been like some of the most fun and most interesting characters I've ever created in an RPG.
It's a great system. It is really, really fun. I think just like my system, they went with the idea of, we want to tell a story in this world, and the system matches that world really well.
Yeah.
So if you're into like kind of the super dark cinematic storytelling aspect with kind of a steampunk vibe, I think it's the best option out there.
What is your character? What are you running?
I play Spider.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, I have a character who is kind of our. Oh my god! Oh my god! Look at the damage!
Forever. Holy crap! That was intense. So you play a spider. Oh.
Yeah, I play a spider. His name is Jacob. He's like a street rat who, is sickly and kind of barely made it. He had a girl he fell in love with, and she ended up, dying at the hand of cultists. She got wrapped into, a cult. And I loved the idea of
oh god. Ooh, nice. Oh, that's not how you do that. Intense fighting ensues.
Yeah, we're both like hunched over in our chair, gamer leaning here. Yeah, so he ends up with this whole idea that he's kind of a nihilist. He wants to bring the system down. So that's a big part of his
arc.
His arc, and yeah, so trying to kind of gain power. He doesn't expect to live through it. He really just wants to end the system.
Okay.
So,
that sounds like you set up the perfect like Blades in the Dark character right there, like because most characters don't make it through it. which is kind of that's great.
Yeah, I think it's fun to play a character who has some fatalism to him. He's got some really defined weaknesses, but the thing that I find fun about him in that game is he's a character who's always in control. And
okay.
I kind of channel the old school sort of Doctor Who, where he's never nervous. Regardless of what's happening, he's already accepted that things will one way or another be fine. And I have always found that a very attractive trait, just in general.
Okay.
And I'd love to have a character who can kind of embody that.
Nice. Say we play one more set here after this one, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great system. I love that. The great thing or the as you kind of pointed out too, like the cool thing about that system is it definitely allows for things like that. Like you kind of you can't really like get too attached to the character.
Yes.
But you can have enough of an attachment to do something so creative.
It makes some surprisingly great role playing.
Yeah.
In my system, I run a mega dungeon game with all FGCBers actually, because there's bleed over from everywhere, right?
Yep.
It's all the same people, but the group plays in this mega dungeon that has this incredibly high lethality to it, and I told them up front, this is like the Dark Souls kind of version of this. You're gonna die, make a bunch of characters.
Yeah.
And you, instead of getting throwaway characters that aren't any fun, they just roleplay the hell out of them. All right, so we should pick this character.
Yep, you should do it.
Go ahead and pick this character too.
Oh, okay. We're both.
You have to experience it.
All right.
It is really a thing. If you have never played her, so just try her dash.
Oh God. Okay.
So one thing to note, her forward dash and her back dash are both fully invincible.
Oh God. Okay.
And every move she has is dash cancelable.
Okay.
So while she doesn't have the best fireballs in the game or the best anything, it doesn't matter because it's all dash cancelable. So everything ends up in an invincible 50-50.
Oh God. Okay. Sure.
So yeah, she is one of the most egregious characters of all time.
I can see that. I don't know how he did her fireball. It looks like a DP motion.
Her fireball
Oh
is...
jeez.
Let's see.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, she has an SPD too. I forgot about that. Her SPD, you can do a full screen invincible dash into SPD for like 70% damage.
Is it the regular SPD move?
Yep.
Oh, nope. Okay.
Yep, go for it.
That wasn't
That's a
it,
regular
but...
throw.
Yep. Oh God. That's amazing. All right, Grunts, you need to play this character. Oh, that's great. So ridiculous.
She is so egregious. It just is hilarious. Hidden character Akuma has nothing on this girl.
She even is like kind of embodies some of it, or maybe he embodies some of her.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like definitely feels like I'm about to get Raging D. Although I guess with the full screen and invincible into SPD, it might as well just be a Raging Demon.
It is just as bad. Yep.
Oh, I didn't do it. I'm trying to do it now. Oh, there you go. Oh. Nice. Oh, nope. It's
Good. SPD.
Does it
It's
care?
kick. It's kick.
Oh, it's kick. Yep. That's why. There we go.
360 kick. Boom.
This is so ridiculous. So
She
ridiculous.
is so funny.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of memes about her. If you look at the up on FGCB, we have a thread for this game, and it has a link to the main wiki for this game. And the quotes and stuff they have for all of her moves are just hilarious.
Oh,
They're like, this move is okay, but because of her dash, it's the most broken move in the game. This is okay, but because of her dash, it's the most broken thing in the game. This is an unreactable 65% damage, 4-way mix-up. Like,
oh wait, I'm the blue one this time. Okay. Oop. Okay. Oh, that was
oh yeah,
cool.
she has that. She has that too. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, she has a slide. There is
Oh, yeah,
nothing this character does not have.
Oh, God.
Look at the damage. Oh god.
Oh man, it's. I'm trying to get the dash. Oh, but I keep jumping out of it. I see what I'm doing wrong. Oh, now I'm on the other side. Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Oh
Yeah,
God.
so you can do a invincible dash into an unreactable low, or a command grab, or a regular grab, or an overhead. So.
Oh.
And look at how active that is. It's active for like 10 years.
Oh God. There we go. I'm pressing jump too early.
I love how long you're in the air for too.
It does have some Azuna drop vibes. Oh,
There it is.
There it is.
I got it. The dash and the grab.
I like how weird she looks when she tries to do it too. When it whiffs, she's like slightly pushes her arm forward.
Yeah. It's just
Oh, I.
Oh no. It just kills. Oh my god. Yeah.
Well. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, this is such a fun example of you can play fighting games not to get good or to win, just enjoy the genre. And we've got casual corner. People are doing that a lot there now, especially No Limits and Ash.
Yeah.
No Limits is like the king of casual corner.
Yep.
But I highly recommend people try this one out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. This has been a blast. This is a great for a Tuesday night that we're recording this on. This is a nice chill post workday adventure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have any parting words?
I guess just, a big thank you to everybody in the FGCB community. It's not anything that I or really anybody else could ever have anticipated growing into what it's become. But I get messages all the time, and like literally all the time, from people saying how this community has changed their lives. Not just because it's fun to play video games with friends, but because they've found a community of people they can get close to. They have a community of people that genuinely care about them and provide, support, care about their mental health. If you pop into fighting game mindset channel, if you pop into health, the building up that the community does of each other is something really unique and special. And I just send a huge thank you out to everybody that's participated in making it what it is.
Yeah, and I will add to that in saying that thank you to you specifically for, building that foundation, as we kind of talked about before. I think I'm one of those people who have gotten to the space of I talk about this place in normal conversation with normal people. In fact, funnily enough, it got brought up while we were buying a car. Yeah. It's such a special place to me, and I really appreciate that you again you laid that foundation. So and I'm more than comfortable to say thank you on the behalf of the community.
Well, thank you very much. I love this place, and I definitely, it's a labor of love. I put a lot of heart and soul into it, but the nice thing is, so do so many other people. So it's become this thing that's just far beyond anything I ever could have imagined.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna call it there. Thanks for everybody for watching, and I hope you go out and play some Sailor Moon S, and keep the dream alive, and I guess
Gaming over 30.
Yeah, keep gaming over 30. All right.
Thanks so much for having me, Jerker.
Yeah, you're welcome, Gio. Have a good night, everybody.